Hi everyone, and welcome to my newest League of Legends games commentary. In this game, I will be discussing about gameplay from the perspective of me playing as Wukong. So, oops, little problem here. So Wukong. In this game, I decided recently to get back into playing Wukong. I played him a lot during the month of December and the month of January, and even got as high as 1800 ELO while playing him, but afterward I got bored and decided to try other champions. But now I decided to just try to get back at playing him since I like his gameplay a lot, and I will try to present you in this video a quick overview of his skills and general tips and more advanced little tricks you can do to win your lane as Wukong. So this game is taken is from one of my ranked ELO, just around 1600. I'm very glad because I finally managed to get back to this ELO, and I think the quality of player is not necessarily better in terms of general attitude and skills than at the 1500 ELO and the 1400. So let's get started. This video is not very long because, as you can see, me and Mundo will really carry the game during the course of the match because of our strong synergy and our good gameplay. So I will try, since the video is not as long as the other one I did, I will try to go straight to the point. Oh, when I was listening to this game, when I was playing this game, I listened to the Blood Ray from Blade 1. I just watched the movie recently, and I found this music very, very motivating when you're trying to like get in the mood of playing the game and just outplaying your opponent totally. So Wukong, as a general start, let's first talk for the first 2 minutes about his skills, then I'll talk about starting builds and general tricks and tips as the game goes on. So his passive skill is his stone skin. So basically what it does, it makes you tougher the more enemy champion you have around you. It's a neat passive, not the strongest, but at least it gives you some really very fireable, very solid resistance for no price. His first skill is Crushing Blow. Basically what it does, it's an auto attack reset timer buff that basically does bonus damage on your next auto attack and reduce the armor of the opponent. This is very good because it synergizes well with his E skill, his Nimbus Strike, and his ult, but I will discuss this later in the more advanced section. His second skill is his decoy. I personally think that this skill is the most fun of Wukong. He is the only character with this kind of, if you wish, stealth mind game mechanic. Maybe Shaco is more is similar, but I think that for tanky DPS it really makes some good synergy with Wukong. Its E skill is basically a gap closer. Somehow area of effect gap closer. You just dash to an enemy and 2 extra enemy around him and deal physical damage, as well as buffing your attack speed afterwards. His ult, Cyclone, is basically the Judgment of Garen, the famous spin to win spell, but it's very upgraded, and it's normal because it's an ult. It knock up people in the air as well as doing more damage and making you faster the longer the spell goes on. So this is very good when you're chasing, when you're escaping, or when you're ganking, or when you want to try to burst combo. So I will get back at the starting build, but right now, as you can see, Riven is really pushed far. She's really playing aggressively. I found that most Riven players play this way, so I try to bait her into attacking me, and she gets greedy. And as you can see, Mundo comes, and now we're fighting. She flashed away, but she tried to juke us by the river, then she tried to ignite him, and she almost get away, but the ignite and our good synergy from me and Mundo allow us to pick a kill. So basically, Riven, now that I presented quickly the general skills of Wukong, I will discuss about more tactics about the top lane. In my previous video, I mostly talk about playing jungler and maybe AP mid, but in the top lane there are other tricks that you must learn if you want to be good at it. First of all is starting rune and starting items. Basically, those are the two biggest component if you want to win your lane after you decided to smart pick. I'm not personally a big master of smart pick. I don't have all the champion and I didn't master all of them. So I know there exists some counter to Riven, so solo top Riven. And Wukong is not really one of them. Wukong is very good against a champion like maybe Irelia or Vlad, but not very good versus Riven. And the main reason is that his combo, which is Nimbus Strike then Crushing Blow, is negated by Riven, because as soon as you dash, you will see if I try it, she just stun me, then does 3 damage and I can't do anything. And also his burst damage is not that high compared, let's say, to Riven in the first level. And also he relies on mana, and believe me, he runs out of mana very quickly. So personally, what I like about Wukong is that even though he's not a real, he does not counter Riven Kit, he's still very solid. He's a solid. You won't be as hardly countered if you pick Wukong as a solo top laner as other champion, because he doesn't have any blatant weakness, and his decoy with flash and his simple skill set allows him to be somehow very useful even in the hand of a beginner player. As you can see here, I'm trying to trade with her, but it doesn't help. And you can basically now you can say like, yeah, but Riven and you are pretty even. Yes, but the difference is that I have 110 armor. I have a full. I decided to counter Riven top. I decided to pick a full armor rune set, and even then she does a lot of damage. Here Mundo tries to gank, but Riven is very resistant to gank, so even with Exhaust we try, alter, good damage, will it be enough? And you see, it took me my ult and a lot of skills and to be able to finish off Riven, but we're still able to get her. Riven is really pushing too much. That's also something you have to learn. So basically, before I start going before I start losing my track of thought, I will give you a few rule of thumb if you want to play an effective solo laner and an effective bot laner, an effective Wukong player. So basically, if you are running at the top lane, do not push beside this position, or even if this line or this line. If you don't have a ward, at least here or here. Or because basically if you do so, you invite the jungler to your lane. You're basically saying, oh, please come gank me, I'm overextended. And with flash and some good movement skill, you can be able to still manage to go with all the wards. But personally, I don't. If you're trying to start to get good at being solo lane, try to always have this little trick in mind. Basically, if you're not very good at controlling your lane, controlling the minion position, that is how you freeze the lane or where the minion line is. If at some point you are forced to have the minion wave fight here and here, I highly recommend that what you do is that you make a hard push. You try to kill all the minions, getting as much XP as possible, the fastest possible, and then afterward you're back. Yes, you will probably lose some experience, maybe some time, maybe some gold, but it's basically much better than just than dying in a jungle gank and anyway having to recall back. So as you can see here, what I just did is the minion wave was in this zone. And one nice trick you can do with Wukong if you're trying to go in the more advanced section is that you can use his decoy to freeze the lane. That is, as soon as your minions are dead, all you have to do is pop your decoy, and all the creep wave will attack him for maybe the 2 to 3 seconds that it is up, and afterward your other minion line will come here and will fight and in this zone, which is really good because in this way, as I said, Riven is very exposed to gank, and the tower is not eating away your experience and minion. Wukong is not really susceptible to. Look at here, I'm trying to gank her, and Riven always trying to play aggressive. So, and then my combo, my ult. As you can see, she's still pushing very aggressively. So, I will now tell you another rule of thumb, and this can be true for almost every role in this game. But basically, if you're losing the laning phase by more than 2 kills, don't try to be aggressive. You lost the lane basically. The only way you can be aggressive is if you're getting some jungle support, or if you are facing a character that really falls off as the more the game goes on. Like let's say Garen. If you're playing Garen, basically I know that he's not very popular, especially in a competitive play, but Garen is really a good representative of this mentality, because early game you're very strong, and if the opponent plays a little bit aggressive, you should be able to secure good kills. But the more the game goes on and the less you're becoming effective, even if you are fed, and this usually means that you can't even if the other players lose a few kills to you, as long as he keeps up in farm and try to do smart play, he can 1v1 you. But Wukong is not really that kind of champion. So as you can see here, I pushed the lane to the tower to force Riven to stay here to farm, because I saw that there was a big dragon fight coming in. So as you can see, everyone is trying to fight, it's very close. So you see, Ezreal decided to become a little bit greedy, and look at, I'm coming here, and I decide to flash, and then poof, stick attack, and I get him. Riven is still pushing, so she might get some damage of the tower, but getting those 3 kills and this dragon fight, more than worth it. So as a solo laner, a general rule of thumb: never ever leave your lane unless you pushed it to the tower. So basically, by the time you get here and maybe get a kill, get a dragon, or just help mid lane, you will have to time to buy some item and get back to your tower, and without losing a lot of experience. If you decide to go gank or go fight for a dragon when your creep wave is there, this is not very optimal. You will lose farm, and if you lose farm compared to the enemy solo laner, you might lose the game and not be able to recover. So as a rule of thumb, if you want to go help your lane, always shove your lane to the tower to be sure to force someone to go here and defend it, or just to take the XP to be sure that that you don't lose it. So I gave you so far a few quick tips. So now, as starting items, basically, if for any bruiser that you run at solo top lane, as I said, the best start, especially for Wukong, is armor 5 pot. I would even say that it's always better to get armor 5 pot for every situation, even if it versus AP champion. But anyway, you don't want to run Wukong versus a Vladimir, let's say, because Vladimir really Wukong doesn't do well versus a good Vladimir, because he basically dodge all of your harass and your ult with his pool. Vladimir is a very annoying solo top champion. But basically, always start armor 5 pot, because this will allows you to have some good resistance, making you stronger in the trades you do with the other champion, and also it will allow you to get some 5 health potion. And since, as you can see here, another nice trick with Wukong, if you think to play some mind games, you can basically use your decoy to gain a few short distance to be able to land your E and your Q without the opponent suspecting this. You can use this trick from a bush, you can use this trick from standing still, and you can do all kinds of trick and mind game with this thing. I know that with this spell. I know that in the Champion Spotlight, when Wukong was first released like 8 months ago, there was the tactic where you when you run, you just stop, and and the enemy thinks that you just decoyed, so he basically runs around, but it doesn't really work. Everyone know this tactic. It's this skill is not used as a don't forget about this trick unless you're playing in lower ELO where people don't understand the mechanics of Wukong. Me, I personally use it as an initiator, somehow of a gap closer, and a juking tool when you're going to the bush and everything. Like a nice trick if you are, let's say, in this position, and I advance here, and afterward you get ganked by the tri-bush. You can go to this bush while the jungler comes, and when you arrive at this zone, all you have to do is decoy and go in the inner bush as soon as the enemy jungler goes here. I don't think I used this trick in the game because the Nocturne player was having a very hard time keeping up with Mundo, and this is normal because Mundo has been a long time a troll pick, if you wish, but right now it has been discovered that he is a very strong jungler, being able to do some nice yanks and stuff like that. So here I'm continuing to farm. So as I said, Wukong knows before I talk about the use of decoy. Wukong has no sustain mechanism, which is a very big weakness because almost every competitive solo top laner has some kind of escape mechanism, or at least like Riven is very mobile or has a shield, stuff like that, and especially if she build a Wriggles and I didn't. So basically me, what I like to do is get the armor 5 pot, and afterward you can transform it into a Wriggle if you like this item. Wriggle is a very solid item, but basically me, I prefer right now to go for the double gold per 5 and the Ninja Tabby, because the Ninja Tabby is some cheap level 2 movement speed, and level 2 movement speed is like maybe the best stat you can have as a solo top laner, because it enables you to have the perfect positioning to be able to trade better, because as soon as you do your damage, you outrun your opponent, and also it gives you some good resistance. Here I decided I tried to juke her, but as you can see, even though I'm 4-0, she's still almost beating me in lane in terms of trades. That is because Wukong, if he is not a very strong duelist, his strength is just, as I said, is a versatile character. You don't play Wukong as a specialist pick. You play him if you want to master a champion that will do okay or good depending on your mastery of him versus almost any champion. But you don't pick him, like, say, to counter. As you can see here, Riven versus Wukong, that this is everything. It always happens. You dash, she stun you, and then she hits you with her big sword, and there's nothing you can do. So right now, as I said, we're pretty ahead. If you will look at the score, everyone is looking so far so good. The mid lane, Swain is doing very good versus our Lulu mid, but she's still in the game. She's not really feeding, but 3-1 can be a problem. But the biggest difference is the top lane, because of Mundo and me being able to, if you wish, capitalize on Riven aggressiveness to be able to score some kills on her. And even though I'm not clearly winning the laning phase because she built a Wriggle Sancturn, and me, I prefer to go for gold per 5 and then a Triforce. As soon as the team fight starts, I should really be able to get back into to the major difference in farm and kills and itemization will really show off between me and Riven, because I'm really more built toward this mid-game dominance, and Riven is more like I'm trying to get back into the game by winning my lane. So far I showed you a starting build as Wukong. Now for general build consideration, you can build almost everything on Wukong. Everything, in terms of tanky DPS, bruiser, general setup. But as a general rule of thumb, I recommend that you get gold per 5 to be able to get your items faster and be able to, I don't know, keep up in gold. And gold per 5 is just a very good item. Those two items really helps you as make your winning your lane exponential, and if you're winning, that is, if you're winning, you will win only harder because of these two items, and more importantly, if you're losing, it will help you mitigate the defeat of this. So as you can see, another big fight and Riven is coming, and this is where my build itemization will make a big difference. So as you can see, I try to hit everyone, and look at the damage. Even Swain cannot keep up. And we try to... Whoop, what did I do? We try to get the good damage, but as you can see, Riven, even though she's kind of tanky, she doesn't have the damage I have. And I'm able to really secure a lot of good kills on the team. And this is a 4-0. So right now the game is really looking very strong. This is the case where when you're getting ahead, as I got ahead early game and Riven decided to still play aggressively, I'm very capitalizing on her aggressiveness to be able to score some good kills. Also, Mundo is really doing his job as a jungler, making some good ganks happen and stuff like that. So congratulations to Mundo, and it's always really fun to get a good jungler in your team. As a jungle player, I really enjoy it when somebody calls the jungle and does a very good job, because when my preferred world is really solo top, but only if I have a good jungler. If not, it's usually pretty boring, because it's either a farm fest or you're getting stumped because the enemy jungler is really capitalizing on you being too push or stuff like that. So general build for Wukong, I would recommend for every single player to either build at mallet, which is the Atmos Impaler and the Frozen Mallet. That is if you're trying to go for the more tanky build with utility and peeling for your range carry. But if you're really carrying the game, if you're able to get ahead in lane, go for the double gold per 5 and then the Trinity Force. So always start with gold per 5 and your choice of boots. Usually Ninja Tabi if you're facing another physical damage bruiser, and if not, go for a Merc Threat. So that's for the general build. Since I don't have the time in this game, since it's very short, you usually don't. I won't go in the details of why this item should be built or not, but still, if you can only get your At Mallet and your gold per 5, usually you should be able to be winning the game or stuff like that. So as you can see here, we catch Nocturne in the jungle, and Grave is just so much ahead, he really stumps him. So there's not a lot of time left for this game, so I'll try to give you some tricks about Wukong. So what is his basic teamfight combo? Basically you have two options. Either you decoy in, as you can see I'm so much ahead, I can just dive them and do some good damage. But the basic combo is using your Nimbus Strike, afterward using your Crushing Blow, and then your ult. That's the most basic combo. Afterward you can use some more subtle combo, which are your decoy, you get near the champion you want, and after that you do a Crushing Blow to reduce the enemy armor, you ult, and as soon as your ult is over, you use your Nimbus Strike to dash to the enemy champion and then kill them. So as you can see now, they decided to surrender, and we'll wrap this run up. So I hope that you enjoyed this demonstration of my Wukong gameplay. Maybe most of you will think that the game was too short, that I wasn't able to go into deeper analysis, and I will be very this is right, but in the last few weeks it was the end of the semester, so I didn't have the opportunity to play as much quality League of Legends ranked game. I have a lot of normals, but I don't usually try to play ranked when I'm maybe nervous or stuff like that, because I think that I don't play at my optimal level. But still, you have a good demonstration of what works versus Wukong, what works versus a very competitive solo top laner as Riven, and you have a couple of good rule of thumbs for just being an effective solo laner, solo top laner, and an effective bruiser Wukong champion. So I will try to do many more games with Wukong as I get more into it, and I hope to be able to do more vids on other champion as well, to be sure that you guys always find my video interesting and stuff like that. So take care, and I hope to see you soon.